Simi Dre, and welcome back to another incredible episode of Life on the Movement Pod. Our guest today, he's a big man, no. His content is amazing. He has completely taken over all social media platforms, and he is Nigeria's leading tech content creator. It's the one, it's the only KAGAN.
Hi, I almost could not tell you were describing me. Was that me?
Did I lie?
I mean, no lies. I mean, it's fine.
Please,
I accept
preach
it. I accept it. I take all the compliments. I take everything in. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you, but should I tell you why you're so amazing?
Why? Please.
Because you grew up in Ibadan.
I see. Ibadan people.
Ibadan
Right.
people.
Ilu Ibadan Alpha. Kini show.
right?
Wow. She said that with an accent.
Yep. But I mean, like, how was life growing up for you? Because, before I didn't realize you were, practically an Ibadan boy.
Well, life was good. It was interesting. It was a learning experience. I was alone most of my, growing up, so it was kind of fun. I had a lot of freedom.
Yeah. Why were you alone?
I guess I was just alone. I don't know. I woke up one day and I was just by myself. It's weird, yeah, but I don't have like an extensive.
What do you mean by alone? Like family?
There was family, but like,
Yeah.
They didn't really care how I was doing, what I was up to. So, I was by myself most of the time.
Yeah. So how were you able to like balance that as well? Because as a child, it can be difficult not having like a proper support system.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe I was just always very jealous of other kids who had that. So I tried to emulate what they had. So for example, there was a period when I would wake up and then I would realize all the other kids had gone to school. So, I figured out that I had to put myself in a school as well. So I did it at the right time.
So
and
you paid for your school, you put yourself in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. I mean, up until, I did for the most part. So I guess I just emulated people around me who had the idea or the image of what I thought was right. And then I just tried to copy paste whatever it is they were doing.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's a lot of dedication and commitment because...
It wasn't commitment. It was just being a kid,
should I
to be
tell you
honest.
why? Because like as a kid, I hated school. I didn't want to go to
Oh.
school. So if I didn't have somebody forcing me to go to school, I
okay.
probably would not have gone to school.
I like books. I like to study. I don't know that I like them as much anymore. But back then, I was always very curious. I would save up all my food money to buy any Blighting novels.
Oh, yeah.
Buy Harry Potter, the entire set. So I was very big on studying, reading, learning things,
Yeah.
assimilating. So, I mean, it's not too surprising that I would do that for myself.
Yeah. Edith Blyton was one of my favorite authors growing up. as
I
well.
think I read everything that she produced.
What were your favorites?
I think the holiday series, was it the 7? What's it called? The 7. I can't remember now.
The 7 group of like friends.
Those
that
that they were all going on holidays, adventures, going into caves, things like that.
Yeah.
Those stories like always took me in, So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I ran with, and I read pretty much everything she produced.
Yeah.
The Secret 7, that's what it's called.
Secret 7, yeah.
Yes,
And
the
then
Secret
there was the
7.
Fantastic 5 or something.
Yes. There was a lot of like
There's a
series
lot.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so eventually you left Ibadan.
Yes, I left Ibadan because I was gonna go to school in Ife, OU.
Yeah. Why
So,
did
yeah.
you choose Ife?
Well, I didn't choose. It was chosen for me. That's what they gave me. So, I ran with it, I guess. I didn't really have a preference for a school to attend. I just knew I wanted to go to school. So, whatever came. They told me OU was a great school. I put it in the JAM thing and I went and wrote the exam and I got in. That's it.
But it's interesting because like, at one point you thought you were going to be a doctor and then
Yes.
you just did like a 360 and ended up.
I didn't really do a 360. I think the Nigerian education system just kind of showed me that education might be a waste of my time because I'm not the kind of person. I was supposed to go do another course because I was too young to be a medical student and then cross to medicine. And then when I did that course and then I saw the entire way the education system was, I was like, nah, this is not for me. Like, I can't do this. So I just want to do my 4 years and get out. I'm not spending 7 years learning something I know I'm never going to ever
practice,
use. Like,
yeah.
it makes no sense.
Yeah. So what actually made you go down the path of tech?
Wow. So I've always somehow kind of been interested in tech. Like even from like my younger days, I had the Palito music player thing, and then when there was Android phones and Symbian phones and all, like I've always been very, very interested. I like to take things apart, know how they work. I was always the guy you would come to if there was something wrong with your tech, maybe your TV, your phone, your radio, your whatever. So, I don't know. I guess I've just kind of had that inbuilt interest
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Yeah. So one thing I respect about you, right, is that you are somebody who is able to like sort of figure out the system instead of staying trapped to the system. Because when you eventually started working, you were like developing websites, etc. How much were they paying you at this company?
Oh, wow. So before I worked for a company, I worked for myself.
Yeah.
And then I think I had a very small mind about how much I should be charging for work. So it was important for me to experience like an apprenticeship, right? Because I quickly learned after I worked in Lagos for a few months that the same things that I'm charging somebody 50,000 naira for, somebody else is billing 5 million naira. So why would I let you bill somebody 5 million naira and pay me 50,000 naira when I can just go around you and be the person they come to and pay that money to? But again, the learning curve was necessary. I had to see it myself. I had to write those invoices knowing that my salary was 81,000 naira at the end of the month, so I could know how to re-strategize, restructure, and then put myself in that position. One of the lessons I learned that was very important, and I always like to tell people this story, is a lesson about packaging, right? So two companies are billing for the same job. I am with company A. Company B is like a bigger company. They arrive in a G-Wagon. They're all suited up, everything. Our company, we came in a Corolla. And I'm wearing like a shirt and a tie and, They don't have the qualification to handle the job. We do. We had like an old presentation slides that I spent 3 days preparing. But they got the job. And then they came back and hired us for like 10% of the money.
Oh.
Yeah. So that kind of taught me a lesson in packaging, arrive how you want to be addressed, dress how you want to be addressed. And it made all the difference in my business going forward from that day.
Yeah. So what actually pushed you to not just like leave this company, but to start your online journey?
Oh, my online journey was Sakwa. I always say this. It was like a really, really bad experience where I didn't have a lot of money left. And then I just wanted to figure out the next thing to do that could potentially make me money. So this was all a complete fluke. In the sense that I've been doing videos for more than 7 years. Nobody knew who I was, right? And then one day I download TikTok. I see a bunch of girls dancing throughout. And then I say, okay, let me do something different. I did it and it took off and boom. 3 years later, this is where we are. So it wasn't as if, it was gradual growth. I was just doing my thing underground. Nobody really knew who I was. I was fine. I was okay with it because it was an hobby, right? And then the blow up kind of happened, took off, and then I've just been here ever since.
But like even before TikTok, you were still making some money from YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So not YouTube directly, right? I think the highest AdSense income I've ever gotten from YouTube was probably like $500. It wasn't a lot of money, but I had other things attached to my YouTube that were making me money. Things like Amazon affiliates.
Yeah.
Right. So, my focus wasn't really on YouTube income. It was on making income through all those other places. So YouTube was like a means to an end, essentially.
Yeah. What was the biggest amount of money that like the first paycheck you got that like
shook me?
That shook you.
Oh, so that it didn't even come from content creation, didn't come from YouTube, didn't come from... I had a job for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And I was supposed to sit down with a bunch of professors. These are like PhD holders in Oxford, very important people that I sit down with them and I'm like, is this real? Like, is this core happening right now? And I think they paid me like $9,000. And I was like, just to sit down and press record, are you serious? Like, okay, I can definitely do this, I can definitely do more of this. And then I just went in harder, kept on working for them for a while. That was like, it was a defining moment, I think, in my journey, because I started to understand that people will pay for your value if you go to the right places. So I didn't settle for Lagosians offering me 300,000, 200,000 naira to come and do work anymore after that. It was done.
What's that song again? Voila.
How much? but this was a long time ago, though. This is not recent stuff. This it's a while ago.
$9,000 is still $9,000 regardless.
Today? Well, maybe if you say so. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't have $9,000. Do you have $9,000 you can borrow us? Let's check. You can send it to my account. Let me see if it will make me feel a certain way. We can take it from there.
Yeah. But so would you say like TikTok was actually what spurred your career? Like TikTok was what made you...
So I'll be very honest. If it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't be here. I don't really mess with TikTok too much anymore because, they're like this. But TikTok
what does this mean?
Okay, so any content creator would tell you that TikTok is weird. They do this thing where they like manually eat people's accounts, right? They pick you, they like you. for like the next 3 months or 4 months, everybody can get enough of you. Even if they block you, they'll still see your content, right? But once TikTok is done with you and they turn off the tap, it's like, it's done. You never hear of that person again. They tried to do that with me, but I don't know. It was just impossible. I think I just grew too big to a point where I couldn't fail anymore, right? So yes, without TikTok, I wouldn't be here right now because they gave me that first that everybody noticed, and then it just took up from there. Then other platforms started to notice, and then Instagram happened, Snapchat, everything, and then it just kind of. But these days, I don't check my TikTok stats. Like I just post and close the app. As long as I've posted in the day, I'm fine. Some days I even forget to post on TikTok. That's how bad it is. I'm more focused on like growing my Instagram and like, doing like philanthropy work on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah, so you don't actually like actively
check, how many views, how many likes, how
but
many
even
this,
with YouTube is not really like a
so I don't do YouTube. I mean, I was on YouTube 7 years.
Yeah.
They gave me nothing, and then all of a sudden I blew
they
up on
made money
TikTok
from
and
Amazon
Instagram
as well. They
Yeah, but that's not YouTube. That's Amazon.
but
It's not the same thing.
What do they pay you? Like something like 15 grand or something?
I think the highest I ever earned from Amazon was like 19 grand, right?
See,
But
like that's more than double of.
No. But see, here's the reason why I don't really like YouTube, right? I was working there doing videos every day, and the kind of videos I make aren't just sit down talk. Like I was producing high quality videos, shooting B-roll, producing movies essentially every day, and I didn't get the traction, the notoriety, nothing. And then I blew up on TikTok and Instagram, and everybody knew who I was. And then all of a sudden, YouTube Black, what's it called, of 2022, and then they gave me like 20 grand or 25 grand just to, and then they put my face on the thumbnail for the video for the whole thing. So it was like, so you guys knew I existed this entire time, but you just never cared until I had to go do it somewhere else. But it's fine. I forgive them because, the money was good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I mean, like, how did you stay consistent? Because this is a thing like a lot of content creators struggle with. The consistency, especially when you're not seeing immediate results. It's hard because like with YouTube, and bear in mind, YouTube is so different from Instagram, from TikTok,
definitely.
Because these are longer videos, more filming
and
is
it's
required.
very disheartening when you post a video you put your heart into, edited for 2 weeks, and then you see 70 views after 48 hours. And then after a month, it's like 120 views. It's painful. It's annoying. I think they need to work on their platform, but it's not my job to tell them what to do. But I think for me, I always advise people, and for me personally, you have to love what you're doing if you want to be able to stick with it. If you don't love it, eventually it will show. And once it gets tough, you're going to deep. So YouTube was always an hobby, or maybe not YouTube, making videos was always an hobby for me that I just enjoyed doing. I like educating people. I like teaching. I like giving information. Like I'm the kind of person who will pay somebody $3,000 to teach me something so I can create a Telegram group and teach people for free. And then the person who taught me would be complaining and saying, oh, this information I gave you, please don't teach everybody. But I've paid you, you've taught me, you can peace off now. Then I'll teach everybody so that they can use that information to try and make money. That's the kind of thing that I like to do, because it's like, why are you gatekeeping information that can help everybody, right? So yeah, I've always liked to teach. So it was never difficult for me to stay consistent. Whether I post a video today and it has only 70 views, tomorrow, same time, you will see another one.
Yeah.
And then eventually one day, 120 views turned into 1 million, turned into 6 million, turned into, oh, I can't post a video that doesn't go viral anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's my time now.
Yeah.
And I think it was my friend Salem King, I don't know if you know him, that said something. He said it was probably a good thing that I never blew up when I was supposed to. Like all those years when I was working, it's a good thing that I didn't blow up, because it gave me the time and the chance to learn a lot of things. And then when I eventually got the opportunity, I was over-prepared.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're over-prepared and like you're ready, you have everything, nothing can shake you. This is probably why when TikTok did their thing and turned off the tap, it didn't matter, because I was already through
Prepared.
the door.
Like, what do you mean, like, things you learned? What sort of things did you learn?
Oh, it's a lot of things. So I like to call myself an avid negotiator, for example. So 2 content creators can walk into the same meeting with the same set of people. They pay you 1 million naira, they give me 100 million naira. Like, and they're perfectly happy to do that. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm better than you in any way. It just means I understand the business a lot more. I've worked in different aspects of it, and I understand how to like get my money's worth and my value, my weight in gold for pretty much every business transaction I go into.
Yeah. So what like tip would you give content creators? Because that charging your worth is a very like difficult thing for a lot of content creators.
Yes, it is.
So what tip would you like give them like to make sure they get their money's worth for all the work they put in?
Don't be desperate. I feel like content creators are too desperate, and it brings a lot of disrespect, because a lot of brands just kind of know that, you know, if we offer you and you reject it, we're just going to offer somebody else who will take it, right? If there was like a consensus and everybody knew their value and their worth, stuff like that wouldn't happen. You know, when you offer a content creator $200 to do 10 videos and shoot for 10 outfits or something ridiculous like that, and they say no, and then you're telling them, oh, is it not just to do this? Or is it not just to do that? Or we can just give it to somebody else, you know, we don't have to use you. Things like that wouldn't happen if all the content creators in the same niche actually respected themselves. But again, it's not my place to tell anybody what to do, but just don't be too desperate. It shows, like, they can smell it. Like, it's like sharks in the water, right? When there's blood, they can smell that stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're desperate and you're too excited, they take advantage of
Yeah.
you.
But speaking of sharks in the water, so I mean, you mentioned that growing up you were alone,
Mhm.
and now I mean you are famous, you're successful. Do you have people from your past popping up in your life?
Oh no, of course, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that though? Because you know,
I feel nothing. The same way I felt nothing when I was alone is the same way I feel nothing now. I mean, sometimes people are going to try to emotionally blackmail you. I'm your father's cousins, second brothers, junior sisters, dog. Like, that's not my business. Like, why didn't you introduce yourself when I was on the street? Where were you all those years, you know? But, you know, sometimes you might feel a certain type of way and you might help a few people, but at the end of the day, I don't care. Maybe I'm just a bad person, but like, I've grown a very thick skin for things like that.
what do you mean you were on the streets?
I was literally on the streets. I grew up on the streets. The streets raised me. The streets is probably why I'm here, because, you know, part of the things I learned over those years is how things happen on the streets. And I always try to stay connected to like the streets, the trenches. I'm the kind of guy who would park my car, wear my slippers, climb a bike, and go to the market to go and buy stuff. I don't have to do it, but like, sometimes I like to touch grass, talk to people, have conversations, see how they're doing, so I can understand how much God has blessed me and the privilege that I have, so I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
You know, the other day we were shooting a video at the Gary place, and I overheard, I don't think they knew that I spoke Yoruba, right? They couldn't tell that I was a Yoruba person. I think people say I look Igbo, right?
Okay, I can
and
see
then,
that, yeah.
I heard some women saying, oh, look at what somebody who has money is doing with his money. Is giving back to the community. But then other people his age go to the club, pop bottles, waste money, things like that. So I'm like, I mean, you're assuming I don't pop bottles. I mean, I don't, but ma'am, you're assuming that I don't pop bottles. But at the same time, it's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. But it's a good thing that people see me that way, because I am able to connect with them on that level. Most
Yeah.
other people can't.
So I mean, you did mention you put yourself through school. Were you working?
Of course, I did all sorts of jobs.
Yeah.
I there's almost no job that you can mention in technology or entertainment that I have not held.
What was your first job and how old were you? Like first ever, any type of job?
Any type of job,
Yeah.
7 years old, selling bread.
7?
Yes. 6, 7. Yeah. Yeah, that was my very first job. But if you mean like an official job
No,
that
no,
was
no,
making
yeah.
actual money, I'll probably say when I was a music producer in university.
So 7 years old, selling bread. Take us through like a day in your life, if you remember that. And the reason
wow.
why I really want to go here is because we tend to live in a society now where everything is on social media and
Yeah.
it's so glamorized,
Of
right?
course.
Everyone thinks that making it just happens
Like
like
that.
that. You know what
Sure.
I mean? And
Sure.
it's hard for people to see successful people and realize that there was actually a struggle
Yeah. Yeah.
behind the scenes. Because
Yeah.
looking at you, I would never have guessed that at one point in your life you were
Thank God
selling
we don't
bread.
look like our struggles.
Abi?
I mean, we thank God that we grow past that stuff. But typical day in my life, 7, wake up in the morning around 4:30, take my bath, put my uniform in my bag because I have to wear something else so it doesn't get stained, go to the bakery, pick up bread. Then I don't know if you know this, you probably don't, but there's a way that they used to do it back then. I don't know if it's the same thing, but there was bread for different prices, 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira. I think the ice was 50 naira, it was the biggest back then. So if you buy 10 of the 10 naira bread, they'll give you 1 extra. If you buy 10 of the 20, they'll give you 1 extra. So the extra on top was like my profit. So I had to sell off all that, before like 7:30 a.m. so I could run to school. So what would usually happen is I would do like a pick up and deliver, right? So I had standard customers who would maybe buy this particular roll of 10, this particular roll of 10. So I could save one to eat as breakfast, lunch, whatever. And then the rest of that money was school money to buy donut and, I don't know, drinks during break time. So I'm not the odd one out or whatever. But yeah, that was basically what it was.
How much were you making? What was your profit from that?
If I say it now, it will sound ridiculous because the Naira was really, really good back then, you know? So 10 Naira then was probably the equivalent of 1,000 plus now, you know? So if I made 40 Naira or 35 Naira in a day, it was really, really good because taking a cab from point A to point B was like 5 Naira back then. So it didn't, you know, yeah. But that number won't make sense to most of the people watching these videos because they're probably too young to get it. I mean, I bought pure water at 1 Naira. So yeah.
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 That's great. So after, that job of selling bread, what was your next job after that?
It was mostly just odd jobs. I don't think I can call them jobs per se. It was mostly just doing stuff for people around their houses, things like that. Cut grass, this, that, plant in a farm, stuff like that. Yeah.
Was it because of the position where your family was? Was your
Oh,
family
so
just
my family was great. I'm from a I would say I'm from a fairly wealthy background. My grandfather married 7 wives. He had a mansion, so he had 27 kids. It was not that I was poor. It was that I was neglected, So I had this very weird situation where my dad and my mom were not married, technically. I think they got divorced. But then my dad had another family. My mom had another thing going on. So it was like that hot child in the middle that can't really go either place. So, yeah, that was sort of kind of what happened.
Okay, so you had your step siblings, etc., but
I mean, I don't know them, but yes, I'm sure they exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to get in touch with your parents just to say?
Oh no. So I don't know that they're alive now.
Yeah. So you don't talk to them at all?
No, I don't. So I think my dad died. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think he's dead. My mom, I really don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is making you sad.
No, it is.
No, but there's nothing to be sad about now, though, because, I mean, I'm here. So
yeah, so the thing is, it's actually really inspiring because, it's making me sad. But the thing is, regardless of that, I'm still in awe because, regardless of that, you are the kind of person you are now. It doesn't seem, I mean,
like it affected me or changed me in any way.
In a negative way.
Well, I mean, it's not perfect. There are... I don't know this for sure because I'm not a psychologist, but I think there's always going to be psychological implications to things.
Yeah.
For example, now I'm the kind of person who doesn't know how to enjoy my money. I overwork myself, despite the fact that I have staff to do stuff. Some days I still sleep in the office. I don't have to do it, but I am so scared of poverty that I would rather just not go back there. Despite the fact that I know I'm probably never going to be poor again in my life, right? I would still rather do the odd overnight. I would still rather unnecessary stuff that is just working too hard or working too much. I would still rather do it just to have the satisfaction of knowing, okay, I did it. And then KAGAN 1, poverty 0. That's basically how I think of things, essentially. And I feel like it's bad psychologically. Like, before I buy something nice for myself, I would question it so much that why am I spending 300,000 naira on a shirt or 700,000 naira on a suit? I mean, eventually I might do it, but I get so scared of that thing that I may never use it. I have suits and shoes and things that I've bought that I have never used because I'm like, that costs too much. That's wrong. That's not right. When you can enter the streets and buy, there's people who could use this money to do so much more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, we need that kind of mindset in politics, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I would never go into politics because I feel like, so I have this philanthropy thing I do, and a lot of people think maybe I'm doing it because at some point in the future I plan to run for office. I would never do politics because I feel like it corrupts you. I mean, money cannot corrupt me anymore at this point, but there's something about power that it does something to your brain. I don't want to find out. I'm more interested in figuring it out, so I don't have to test myself to see how I handle it. I'm just not interested.
Fair enough. Okay, so you said obviously there's still that trauma when it comes to spending, etc. What about even your own relationships? I mean, seeing the
I would spend $1 billion on somebody I love.
Yeah.
The question is, will I spend 1,000 on myself?
So it's not even about yourself. Like, do you find it easy to connect to people? Or do you find because there's some people who, because of the way their parents were, they find it difficult to like open up to like their potential partners,
I don't have friends. That's the first thing. I don't keep friends. I don't place a lot of value in interpersonal relationships with other people. I do love. I think I'm capable of love, but like it can get difficult when people are trying to get you to open up and it's just like you're withdrawn, you're laid back, trying to communicate with you, but it's like I've gone through this phase where it's like, if I got here on my own, why do I need anybody? So it makes things kind of difficult sometimes, but generally I think I'm fine. I'm doing fine.
I mean, you are doing fine. I mean, like
relationship wise, I think I'm doing fine as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there is.
I mean, of course.
The way you said, of course.
I mean, of course.
No, the reason why, like, it's not an of course situation is because the streets are not smiling. Like the street, especially dating in Lagos.
I'm not on the streets.
I mean, you're good now.
fine.
You're
Yes,
happy now.
so-
But before you were happy, like the streets.
No,
did
no,
the
of
streets
course.
show you shege?
No, I saw shege.
Thank
Lagos
you very-
girls. No.
And like
no.
Lagos boys, Lagos girls.
Lagos girls are something. I would rather not speak because if I speak, I'll be in trouble. But
What was the biggest shege you ever experienced?
wow, this wasn't even in Lagos. This was university. I remember, she was coming. She stayed in Port Harcourt. She was coming to school to see me. I was gonna go, get like dinner and stuff to do something romantic, turn on candles and all that. It was supposed to be perfect, right? And on my way to get the food, I got in an accident, broke my shoulder. I was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. She never came, only for me to find out that she went to our ex when she got there. So, but that's not the worst part. You see, the worst part was after I got out of the hospital, I still carried myself. Like the moment I could wear a shirt, I still carried myself to our hostel, right? She made me stand outside the door while the guy was inside. And then he left out of respect for me to give me a chance to speak to my girlfriend. And then she left me standing there and went to stand by his car to speak to him. Yeah, that happened. That was real life.
The audacity.
I know.
Did you still stay in that relationship?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't.
All right.
But yeah, it changed me a bit.
But I mean, like, did you leave that relationship immediately?
I mean...
Or you stayed for a
so
while
the thing,
longer?
No. So the thing about me is I'm a very vengeful person.
Yeah.
I will leave, but I will come back for my revenge. I will draw my pint of blood. So I left, but it wasn't really leaving. I did some things I'm not proud of.
What did
but
you
I
do?
got
your revenge. What did you do?
It's not conducive for camera.
You're telling me off camera.
I got my...
Was it
I'll
that
tell
bad?
you off camera.
Was it that bad?
I mean, hurting somebody is always going to be bad. So
Physically
emotionally...
or emotionally?
Oh no, I will not kill an ant. But like, if you hurt me, I will get my pound of flesh.
Yeah.
I always do.
Yeah.
You might think I've forgotten. 10 years, I'll just pop up. Told you. That's the kind of person I am. So yeah.
Nobody
I don't
should mess with you.
I do not forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will come back and I will take what's mine. And I will remind you. I told you I was going to come.
Where were you when my heart was being broken into pieces? So every time I could have gotten my revenge.
No, I mean, you were just not that kind of person. And it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to forgive and forget.
And that's why I need people to do it for me.
Oh, okay. You were looking for Eat Man.
Why not?
I'm your guy. I can still do it now. Give me their names. Give me a list. They will collect.
No, I don't send them anymore. But
Okay,
back
then
then,
that's fine.
when the pain is fresh, it's still
you're
pepper.
really upset.
Whew.
I get it.
Yeah.
I've been there, as you know. They've shown me premium shege, so yeah, I get it.
Fair enough. But you seem to be somebody who's... I'm actually surprised, right, that, you could be so vengeful because you seem to be somebody who... is okay with negativity and attacks because
yeah. So I mean, you can be both.
Yeah.
I can be okay with your negativity and your attacks, and I can still take it out on you in future.
Yeah.
I can make you suffer for it when you least expect it, but I don't have to care right now. So yeah, that's just me.
Fair enough. Because when you put yourself out there on social media, and this is something a lot of content creators or people who want to go into content creation are terrified of. They're like, you are exposing yourself to the world. And human beings are not nice at all.
That's correct.
Yeah. What's been the worst comment you've gotten and how do you deal with negativity?
So I get 6,000 comments a day. I'm sure at least 500 of them are really negative. I've gotten really bad ones to the point where I think I'm desensitized to it. Like I don't feel it. I respond to bad comments with the same energy or I just laugh it off. So I think the most recent one that I can remember, right? I made a video about the situation of the economy and some guy wanted to call the video a waste of time. So he goes, "What a waste. Is that the entire video?" That kind of thing. But then he spelt waste as W-A-I-S-T.
Okay.
Right. So I just responded. I'm like, waste.
Oh, so you even respond to
asterisk.
negativity.
Yeah, I said waste asterisk. It's fine to insult me, but insult me with correct English. Like, do it properly, right? You need to know how to speak English as an adult human being. For some reason, people thought I was trying to be mean, but like, I genuinely just like wanted that person to understand that that's not how to spell waste, you know? So that's basically how I am with negative comments these days. I give you your size and I keep it moving. I never go back there. In fact, most of my comment sections, I hardly go there anymore. So if you leave a negative comment, you call my mother this, call my father this, I may not even see it. To be honest. Like I have seen so many bad comments that I'm done.
Yeah.
Be fighting yourself. And the best part is I have best friends, right? I call my followers my best friends. So they almost always fight for me. So if you say something negative, chances are before I see it, you've deleted it because they've bullied you
I love
out
it.
of there. So it's perfectly fine. Do whatever you want in my comment section. Justice will be made before my arrival.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But as somebody who works in tech, obviously you're probably like aware of certain trends happening, etc. What do you think is going to be the next trend in the world of social media content creation?
Minus AI, which is obviously already blown up. That's the thing. There's an AI tool for everything these days. Minus that, I think cryptocurrencies are making a comeback. This is going to be the year of the bull run. Yes. I think a lot of people are going to become millionaires this year because of cryptocurrencies, and a lot of people are going to lose everything they have. This is important. A lot of people will make a lot, and a lot of people would lose a lot because people get greedy, especially with money that seems easy. Right. And it's one of the things I try to teach my best friends about money, right? There's this analogy that I like to use. Somebody who is a billionaire, for example, if they give you a business opportunity and they say you can get 2% from that business, you put 100 million in it, that means you get 2 million easy the next day, right? You're comfortable with that. But if all you had was 50 naira, you're not looking for 2% of 50 naira, right? You're looking to 400x your money or 4,000x your money. Then you put that 50 naira in, you make 5,000, and then you get greedy. You want to put 5,000 in to make 500,000, and then all of it disappears. See, so that's the contrast between rich people and poor people. It's why the rich stay rich and the poor. Education like that, knowledge like that is the kind of things that rich people pass on to their kids. That it's okay that you take 2% and you go home. It's okay that you take 4%. It's not every time you do 100x or 2,000x or 3,000x. Yeah, so
you've heard, it's not every time. Just collect your profits and walk away.
Yes, take a little bit. Break even if you must. It's more important to protect your capital than it is to live. Like some people get, okay, so in cryptocurrencies, right? I trade crypto. If I tell you, I give you a signal, I tell you, okay, this coin is going up, put money in it.
Which one should I trade in?
If I say put money in something, right? And everybody puts money in it and it goes up for a while and then it starts coming back down, right? Some people will get out very quickly because they're scared. You know, they don't want to lose the little profit they've made. But then I might tell you, okay, I'm pretty confident in this. Let's go down, like let it deep, let it get red, let it look like you're about to lose all your money. I am almost certain you're going to make 1,000% today. Just ride with me. That's what I do with my best friends, right? And the people who stick with me usually end up, right? They end up with like a whole lot more money.
I'm joining this group chat.
No, they usually end up with like a whole lot more money. But then there's the people who got out when it was going down and then they're like, I missed out. I lost money. I'm like, no, you didn't lose money. You know, it's not your money to lose, right? You got your capital and you got a little bit on top of it. That should be enough. That was like free 20% of your money that you just got. You didn't do anything beyond just press a few buttons on your phone for that money.
That is true.
Technically, you didn't work for it. So like, what do you mean you lost money? It's not yours to lose, you know? But people get greedy. So they think any money that didn't enter their account is money that's left their account for some reason. I don't understand the rationale, but that's what it is.
Fair enough. Kagan, we are running out of time, but quickly before we do say goodbye, what word of advice do you have for any aspiring content creators, especially those in tech?
Those in tech?
Especially.
stand on your own 2 feet, be a man or woman of honor, respect yourself. You know, your word should be your word, and don't be too moved by money. I understand that we all have to make money and feed our families and everything, but if you're a corporate shill and you're just constantly taking money from companies to lie to people, they will know. Eventually, like even if they trust you at the beginning, eventually you're going to be exposed. We're going to know that you only say the things you say because you were told to say them, and we're going to get tired of you and we'll cancel you. And I say we because, yes, I'm a part of the audience too. I watch other people's content. So please be careful and go with God.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Some brilliant words of advice. Sadly, we have to say goodbye on Life on the Movement Pod. It's been amazing having you here.
It's been amazing speaking to you as well. This was nice. It felt like I was talking to my friend, even though this is like the first time we're having a conversation.
Yeah, it is. But it won't be the last.
I hope.
Yes.
I mean, every time I meet you outside, you're always looking all peng, holding your grandmom. I don't know why you drag her everywhere, but it's
no, my
nice.
grandma wants to come. Like that particular evening, I was planning to leave her in the house because we'd been going out back to back. My grandma knocks on my door. Simi, what are we doing tonight? I was like, no, I
your people, we love it.
No, I we go again.
Love it for her. Love it for her. Love it for her.
All right, guys, we got to go, but don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and to stay connected because we have more incredible episodes coming out very, very soon. Catch you then. Bye.